The movie begins with a shot of posters and hand-drawn paintings adorning Cal's walls. Cal's alarm abruptly interrupts the scene, and he groggily wakes up. As he prepares for school, Cal quickly retrieves it from his dog's mouth. Cal makes his way to school on his bicycle, leaving his enthusiastic dog in the yard. He arrives at school and, while walking down the hallway, spots a coin on the ground. Cal stoops to pick it up, only to be approached by Cicely, who informs him that the coin is mysteriously glued to the floor. Before Cal can react, he's unceremoniously kicked away by a boy named Ronnie. Cal, feeling hurt and indignant, walks away. Unfortunately, his condom drops from his backpack, and Cicely picks it up, deciding to keep it with her. Cicely also kicks the glued coin away, a prank orchestrated by a group of bullies. Cal then finds himself taking a test, with a boy seated behind him attempting to copy his answers. Resolute, Cal doesn't allow it. However, the situation escalates when the boy, a known bully, punches Cal from behind and warns him. The teacher, Mr. Talley, becomes involved in the commotion, summoning Cal and questioning whether he allowed others to copy his paper. Mr. Talley sternly threatens to fail Cal if such behavior continues. Following that class, Cal becomes increasingly aware of a girl, the same one whose sketch adorned his room at the movie's beginning, during his subsequent class. He finds it impossible to divert his gaze from her. In the next scene, Cal is seen sketching another portrait of the girl. A group activity unfolds, and Cal eagerly joins the group where his crush, a girl named Gabby, is a participant. He tries unsuccessfully to engage her in conversation. Later, in the cafeteria, Cal proudly shows his sketch of Gabby to his friend Borgie. However, his joy is short-lived as Borgie reminds him that he cannot give it to her because she is dating Vic, a known bully. Despite these setbacks, Cal remains optimistic and shares with his friend the story of how his parents fell in love because his father wrote a song for his mother. In the sketching class, the teacher notices a letter on Cal's desk, congratulating him for being accepted to UCLA. Cal, however, surprises everyone by stating that he prefers Rhode Island. Cecilia returns Cal's condom and is on the verge of inviting him to a homecoming dance when Borgie inadvertently spoils the moment by commenting on how everyone calls her homeschool in the hallway. In a hallway encounter, Cal finally approaches Gabby and asks if he can talk to her. She agrees, and he inquires about her attendance at the homecoming dance. Gabby dismissively responds that nobody goes to such events and walks away. As she departs, Cal notices her bag is open and discreetly slips his sketch into it. When Cal is about to leave school on his bicycle, Vic and his companions snatch it away from him. They confront him, insinuating that Mr. Talley failed them due to Cal's actions. Cal vehemently denies informing the teacher about their cheating. Vic threatens that they could be kicked out of the game as punishment. Vic then states his intention to convince Mr. Talley that they didn't cheat, citing the importance of the next game. In response, Cal expresses his indifference, prompting the group to physically assault him. They force him into a plastic barrel and roll him down a flight of stairs. Cal, battered and bruised, manages to pedal his way back home on his bicycle. Despite his injuries, he engages in play with his faithful dog. He energetically hits a ball with a baseball bat, and his dog, Runt, eagerly retrieves it, creating a moment of connection. That evening, Cal's mother arrives home exhausted and heads straight to bed. The next day, Cal is summoned to the principal's office. The principal informs him that the security guards witnessed the bullying by Vic and his friends the previous day. To make matters worse, the football coach enters the room with Vic. Vic shows the principal a sketch of Gabby, falsely accusing Cal of stalking his girlfriend. The principal doesn't have much to say, and the meeting concludes without any significant developments. When the school day ends, Cicely approaches California. She invites him to go to the library with her and also asks him to do the homecoming dance. However, Cal recalls what he was told by Gabby and informs Cicely that nobody goes to those events. She replies by saying that nobody goes to those things to dance. Cal works part-time at a store, and when he finishes work, he goes to the library to meet Cicely. They smoke together, and afterward, Cicely asks if he can give her a ride home. Cal agrees, but just in front of her house, they have an accident. As Cicely sits on the road, Cal notices her legs and compliments her, saying she has beautiful legs and suggesting she shouldn't be wearing long skirts. Cal goes home and immediately picks up some lube and a pair of tissue papers, retreating to his room for some personal time. He asks his dog if he would like to wait outside, and the dog is more than happy to leave him alone. The next day at school, Cal is again in the same study group as Gabby. She tells him that she liked the sketch, but Vic saw it and became jealous. She then invites Cal to a party at Vic's house that weekend, as his parents won't be home. She encourages him to come to the party and shows Vic that he doesn't care about their previous disagreement. Cal and Borgie go to a secluded area for some target shooting practice. Borgie tries to persuade Cal to go to the party initially, but Cal resists because the party is at Vic's house. However, after much persuasion, Cal finally agrees. Cal and Borgie attend the party and find people drinking and using drugs. After a while, Cicely also arrives at the party. Cal and Cicely step outside to get some fresh air due to all the smoke inside. Vic and his friends follow them, and Vic decides to mess with Cicely, thinking she is Cal's girlfriend. They tackle Cal and put him in the trunk of his car, then grab Cicely, causing her to cry. Cal eventually manages to get out of the trunk, and in the meantime, Gabby comes out and pushes Vic away. Cicely runs away from the scene. The next day at school, Borgie apologizes to Cal for not supporting him the previous night. Cal, however, states that he wouldn't have done anything even if Borgie had been there. They start arguing and engage in a heated verbal altercation, exchanging insults before walking away. Cal looks for Cicely but is unable to find her. Gabby leaves him a note, but he doesn't read it. As he is about to leave for home, he discovers that his bike chain has been cut. Cal has to get to work, so he starts running there but ends up getting fired by his boss because he's late. His boss informs him that this is the third time and he can't tolerate it any longer. Cal calls his mom for a ride, but she doesn't answer the phone. He walks back home, dragging his broken bike with him. Upon arriving home, Cal is extremely upset to find his mom sleeping. He decides he's had enough, gets into his mom's car, and drives away with Runt. He's had it with everything. He drives to Vic's house and sets his car on fire. Vic, along with Hank, comes out of the house and immediately dials 911. Hank glances at the back of Cal's car as he drives away. The next day, Cal skips school. He gets his bike fixed and goes to see Cicely. He knocks on her door, and her father answers. Cal expresses his desire to see Cicely, but her father informs him that she is not at home. Cal then goes to the library and waits for her outside with his dog. While waiting, Hank arrives at the library and recognizes the dog from the previous night. Cal notices Hank and decides to hide alongside his dog. Hank calls for backup, and he and his friends search for Cal but are unable to find him. Cal, feeling cornered, goes to a gun shop and contemplates buying a weapon. He receives a text from Cicely, and they arrange to meet that night. They meet, and Cal asks Cicely if she plans to go to the police regarding what happened with Vic. She says she's not, giving two reasons. Her father is on probation and could end up in jail if he finds out, and if Cal's act of setting the car on fire is reported to the police, it could jeopardize his future. She asks him to be careful. Cal goes to school the next day, and Borgie approaches him. Borgie apologizes for not supporting him the previous night and promises to have his back from now on, as things are escalating at school. Cal encounters Vic and his friends, and a fight ensues. This time, Cal fights back using his iron fists, taking the fight to them. Mr. Tally intervenes and breaks up the fight. After the fight, Cal is pleased that he fought back, and Ronnie and the other boys cheer him on, nicknaming him the Madman. They offer him a ride home in their Jeep, and Ronnie invites Cal to go bowling that night. They go bowling, and Ronnie tells a disturbing story about his father, who sprayed his drugs with Ajax as a prank, causing his father 6 months of suffering. Cal doesn't seem to appreciate the story and declines an invitation to an after-party, claiming he's occupied. He calls Cicely and asks her what she's up to. Cal returns home and finds Cicely waiting outside with his dog. He tells Cicely about the events of the evening. When they talk about Runt, Cal mentions that Runt was a stray dog he adopted. As they enter the house, Cicely encourages and appreciates Cal for standing up for himself at school. However, Cal expresses concern about getting in trouble. Cicely reassures him that he won't because everyone blames Vic for starting the fight. They hug, and Cicely predicts that Vic will get what he deserves. The two then watch a movie together. While sitting together, Runt becomes jealous, prompting Cal to take him outside, explaining that he gets jealous when Cal gets close to someone. Later that night, they sleep together. When Cal wakes up, he finds Cicely looking at the drawings on the wall in his room. She appreciates his work, and they read a letter indicating that they have been rejected. As they leave the house, they share their first kiss, and Cicely leaves. Cal goes in search of Runt but can't find him. He spots bloodstains and follows them to find his beloved Runt dead in a trash can. Cal is overcome with shock and grief, crying deeply. He goes to school and confronts Vic, who denies everything. After a while, Cal sees Vic whining like Runt used to, and he realizes that Vic is the one who killed his dog. Cal decides to take matters into his own hands. He makes a plan and waits for the big football game night. However, Vic can't play due to a hand injury, and their team is losing. Cal goes to the locker room and finds their drugs. He recalls Ronnie's story about spraying drugs with a chemical liquid cleanser. In hopes of causing chaos, he sprays the drugs with a chemical liquid cleanser, anticipating that the players will suffer the negative effects Ronnie described when they snort the drugs. The players indeed become a mess. Cicely and Borgie understand that Cal is up to something and begin looking for him. Cal manages to get Vic alone in a secluded place, armed with a baseball bat. He beats Vic severely with the bat. When Vic manages to take the bat away, Borgie appears and fires a shot into the air. Cal takes the pistol from Borgie and asks his friend to leave. Cal is on the verge of shooting Vic when Cicely arrives, urging him not to. Cal then assaults Vic again, and they leave the scene, disposing of the bat and pistol. This is where the movie ends. Thank you for watching.